In popular and rock blues music, our most popular scale is the pentatonic minor. It can be used as a minor scale in minor songs, or as a blues scale in major blues or minor blues, and we can actually change the root and use it even as a major fingering. Using the root as a minor, it's 1 flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7, 1 flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7, and then 1 and flat 3 again. You've learned this and played it for some time now. One of the earliest alterations we can learn to put on it is the flat 5. That's a chromatic note in between the 4th of the scale and the 5th. And it's the blue note. So you got 1 flat 3, 4, flat 5 or sharp 4, and then the 5. The flat 7 and 1 are the same, then the flat 3, 4, flat 5 is sticking out on the pinky there on the 3rd string, and then on the 2nd string 5, flat 7, root, and flat 3 again. So that's your blues scale. Another addition we could make to the pentatonic is to add the 2. We've been playing 1, flat 3, 4, and 5. Now we can add the 2 right before the 3, and this is the hexatonic, a 6-note scale. And we run into that 2 on the 3rd string. We have to shift back to the 4th fret. And on the 1st string, that B note, or the 2, just as we found it on the 6th string. Those 2 strings are duplicates of each other. So 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7. 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7. 1, 2, flat 3. As I mentioned earlier, I find that to be sort of a Spanish sound. Or in different contexts, it's just very bluesy, or adds kind of a 60s element for my ears. The next scale I like to add when I've done the hexatonic is the Dorian. It's got the 2s, and then the 6 is lined up with the 2. So Dorian has 2s and 6s added to the flat 3 and flat 7 of a minor scale. Just to make it memorable for students, I sometimes call this the double hexatonic. As we've added that fret on hexatonic, we add it on the next string for Dorian, so we double the effect. So if we've added a 7th fret on the 1st string, we add it on the 2nd. We added a 4th fret on the 3rd string, so we double that idea and put it on the 4th as well. So we have 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, 1, 2, flat 3. Again, that's a minor scale. We've talked about it before. We've played Scarborough Fair and Greensleeves, which uses that. It's kind of a medieval sound. It's also very jazzy and used in the blues a lot. In fact, it's used primarily in a major blues. If you're playing in A, you're still going to use the flat 3 even though the chord is major. That 6 is part of the D chord, the 4 chord. So that's one reason it gets stuck in there. If you like the symmetry of the Dorian, the Phrygian has a similar symmetry. You can learn it just by lowering the 2 and the 6 from the Dorian scale. They would end up here on the 4th and 5th strings, and then here on the 6th string. So this is the Phrygian mode. It's mode number 3 in our modal system. So where Dorian had 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, Phrygian has 1, flat 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6. For me, it's very much a Spanish scale. The Aeolian is the natural minor. Notice I am starting all of these with a pentatonic skeleton. So far, 1, flat 3, 4, 5, and flat 7 have been the key elements to all the minor scales. The Aeolian is a mixture of Dorian and Phrygian in this sense. It's got a 2 and a flat 6, a 2 and a flat 6, and a 2. You see a symmetry of this one that's nice. We've got a whole step and a half, whole step and a half. This then is your natural minor, probably the most popular minor scale. That fingering is really nice. I slip back, as I've mentioned before, to get the 2 on the 3rd string, 4th fret. If flat 2 is here in Phrygian though, you could stick the 2 of an Aeolian out here with the pinky reaching. Or shift. So that's your natural minor, your most popular sound. And that one is Aeolian. The Aeolian mode is the 6th mode, or it's just the natural minor scale. What I like to say of the minor scales is that they all have in common the flat 3 and the flat 7. In my mind, that's what defines minor. However, there are a couple of minor scales that don't have a flat 7. The harmonic minor is the first one that we run into. I've drawn my pentatonic outline here again, but that fails us on harmonic minor. It's an Aeolian scale, so it's got a 1, a 2, a flat 3, a 4, a 5, a flat 6, but it raises the 7 into a leading tone to get us to the root here. So that's 1, there's your 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6 again. This flat 7 we won't do, we'll replace it with the raised 7. The raised 7 is leading you up to the root. So this one's harmonic. We've discussed this in other songs like Halva Nagia. The reason there's a raised 7 is that this minor chord wants a major 5, an E chord. The E chord has a G sharp in it, that's the leading tone. So we put that in our harmonic scale. Right there. So you'll hear a variety of styles. When I play it like that, usually we hear something Arabic. Usually I don't reach that extra note. Another one we haven't done, although it's come up in discussion before, is the melodic minor scale. What happens is people get sick of this leap, this augmented leap. We've got a 5 to a flat 6, leaping an augmented step to the major 7 to the 1. It creates a very distinctive sound of the harmonic scale. As I said, it's put there to reflect the harmony of the E7 chord or the E major chord. The melodic minor scale raises the 6 as well. What they're doing here is eliminating that harmonic step where we have the half step, the augmented, and another half. So they raise the 6 up. That way it's not an artificial leap up to the 7. So climbing up, we create this impetus upward like you would have in a major scale. The only note that's not major is this minor 3. So we've got a 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, major 6, major 7, 1. That 6 can be put back on the other fret here too. Shifting back. The trick to the melodic minor scale is that it actually changes when you're ascending versus descending. There's your minor, 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5. I'll put the major 6 back here just as it was in Dorian. Major 7 now, and then a root. So from the 4 on, it looks like an Ionian. 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. 2, flat 3 though. 4, 5, 6. In Dorian, we'd have a flat 7 here. In melodic minor, we have the raised 7 pushing us up to the root. So this is melodic minor, ascending. Descending, they convert back to Aeolian. The 6 and 7 push us upward toward the root as we ascend, but if we lower them, flat 7, flat 6 to the 5, it allows us to come back down the minor scale, and the melody then flows downward. So the harmonic minor scale has the raised 7 to reflect the harmony of a major chord, resolving to the minor 1. The melodic minor continues to have that same chord, but it also raises the 6. This does two things. It eradicates that really distinctive half-step augmented sound. It also creates an impetus toward the root ascending. You can hear a nice natural flow up. Coming back down, they lower those notes. You can hear that they don't really flow downward with that minor note. So they lower them. The 7 is lowered again, the 6 lowered. Now you can hear it falling down. You can hear it drop to the 5, which continues the move down to the root. So there it is all the way up. I revert to Aeolian to come back down. Raise the 6 and 7 on the way up for melodic minor. There they are. There they are again. Coming back down, they're lowered. Flat 7, flat 6. Flat 7, flat 6. So that's the melodic minor. It's just created to give you better melodies. Going up, we get to the root through the major notes. Going back down, they're lowered again. If we don't revert to the Aeolian on the way down, if we only remain in this, it's called the jazz minor. They'll use that a lot where you don't actually change the scale. It continues on the way up and on the way down to have only the flat 3 and the major 6 and 7, and that's called jazz minor again. There are other alterations we can add. You can play the scale with both the 7 and the flat 7 in it. You can play a bebop scale. Which has the flat 7, 6, flat 6 going down, which is kind of melodic, and then 6, 7, 1 on the way back up. That's a very chromatic scale used for those kinds of endings, and that's the bebop scale. So that's root, flat 7, 6, flat 6, 5, 6, 7, root. Just to be silly sometimes, I'll show people all of these all at once. So we've got pentatonic, we can add a 2 and make it hexatonic. We can add 6s and make it Dorian. We can flat the 2 and flat the 6. From the Phrygian scale, or the flat 6 is coming from the Aeolian. We've got a flat 7, but we can also have a major 7, which would go here. And we can have a flat 5 from the blues scale. You can even add a major 3rd just as a chromatic note scooting you through here. We hear that a lot, minor 3rd to major 3rd to 4th. Here's my flat 2 again, here's my major 3rd. What you notice then is every single note on your guitar is allowed, even in the context of a minor scale. The major 3rd is probably the least likely to be used, but if you slur through it as a chromatic, you can use it too. So sometimes as a gag, I would draw all those notes and say they're all available to you. The irony being, of course they're all available. I've got a whole guitar. I already knew that I could play any note. What I want to know is which are the right ones. So the right ones would be to trim it down. You play pentatonic and isolate some notes. You can add a few for touches. You can add the blue note. Then you can come back to pentatonic. add the 2, hexatonic, come back to pentatonic. Add the 2 and the 6 in Dorian, come back to pentatonic. Throughout your playing, you can kind of sample each. Try one of the special notes every time through and see how they work, but knowing that these are all options, but also knowing they don't all come together at once. You could play a pentatonic idea. I'll go hit the major 3 here just since I talked about it. Major 7 as I run up to the 1. Flat 5 blue note. 2. There's the 2 again. Flat 6 from Aeolian. Major 6. Dorian. There was a major 7 again. There it is with the flat 6, harmonic minor. There it was with the major 6, melodic minor, or jazz minor. Flat 6. 2 there. Flat 2 there from Phrygian. Flat 6 will be dark. So there you can run through them all, but you wouldn't just smear them all into one idea. You'd separate the scales out and use them appropriately when you wanted them.